So, Battlefield 3, a lot of people are wondering exactly what it's like and what it's all about. Well, I just got invited to the alpha trial, and I was not expecting a web-based shooter more akin to Battlefield Heroes than Bad Company 2, but that is certainly what I got. Very strangely, actually. I wasn't expecting this at all. Not sure how to respond. I'm not sure if I'm weirded out by this or just sort of thrilled by this because it's different, it's new, it's edgy, it's trying to, change up the way that they handle their GUI system. By having everything be web-based, they could maybe change it and modify it in the future. So what we're looking at right now is, this is actually the server browser. This is a website, and as you can see, you have your campaign, your co-op, and your multiplayer. So even for single player, you will have to go through the website to play the game. It shows you your rank. Right now I'm still a private first class newbie who has no cool upgrades or attachments. Let's go ahead and click the quick match button. So I have this option, and what happens is in the corner here, this little plugin starts running that shows me a server. It says slot reserved 1 of 34, and I can actually watch as those slots go down. So I see a lot of people are joining this server now at random. So I'm going to go ahead and join too. And I tried to play this game at first, and it said I needed to update my NVIDIA drivers. So I updated my NVIDIA drivers, and it said I still needed to update my NVIDIA drivers. And I was running the absolute latest drivers. So I then had to search around the net, and I found a Battlefield 3 forum where people were having the same problem. And what they ended up having to download was the experimental NVIDIA drivers that are still in beta. So this thing is so new, it's still using drivers that don't actually exist yet. In a form that is standardized. You have to still go to a special alpha site. Okay, well, let's go ahead and hit the launch game button. All right. So we are ready to deploy now. And the first thing I noticed is the game is in a window. I cannot get this game out of the window. It's sort of forced into the window, and that it's always in it. The border will always be there. But the cool thing is I can dynamically scale and resize it, and it doesn't seem to slow down anything. The game seems to stay perfectly normal even when running in a window. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and drag it to the corners of my screen here at least. Now I'm going to try and play this with my feet because I don't have a thing to hold my camera on, so I apologize if all I can do is run forward and not strafe. Here we go. Okay. So, the first thing I noticed about the game is you can obviously go prone, which they say is a feature, but it's always sort of been there, so it's not really a feature. Second thing is the dynamic motion blur looks great on everything. You can vault over obstacles, which is great. I'm going to use my other foot here to do vaulting and jumping. Let me see if I can hold down shift and run. Nope, it's not doing it with left shift. Have to do it with right shift. Okay, repositioning my feet on the keyboard here. Alright, now we're going. We are going fast. Okay. So, running through some trees here in this little Parisy-looking place. I'm probably going to get shot because I'm running around like an idiot who's driving with his feet, because that's exactly what I am. Okay, let's go prone. See if we can find some people. Oh, there's a dead guy on my... No, go back down. There we go. Okay, looking for... Okay, there's a guy. Okay, the first thing I'm going to point out is the gunshots are not nearly as satisfying as they are in Battlefield Bad Company, and I don't know why that is. There's just something that's a little unsatisfactory about them. A little too noisy. The bullets look like they're freaking huge when they come out of the gun, and the muzzle flashes are gigantic, but I think that's just perspective. It takes a little getting used to, but once you're used to it, you're like, oh, this is how guns should always fire. I also noticed there's no real crosshair to use, except when I'm out of view. Then I have a nice little crosshair, but it's not very close together. You still have to do some guesstimation and aiming. Okay. Well, you're out of ammo, but is that my problem? Because I thought I was an assault. I'm just a medic. Oddly enough, I can switch to the knife and I can switch to the grenade, which is funny since knife and grenade are already bound to their own keys. Not sure why I can do that, but there you go. I'm now crawling through some bushes like an idiot. Let's go ahead and stand up and jump over some things. Alright, we're just going on a stroll here with our feet. Alright. They're taking the MCOM station. That's not good. Or we're taking the MCOM station. That is good. Okay. It's kind of hard to determine which team is which or who is who. I don't see any identifying markers or characteristics. It looks like two armies of the same class fighting each other. I mean, I'm sure there's visual differences, but I haven't noticed them yet to help me discern who is who. I don't even know who's Russian and who's American, or if that's who's even fighting, because occasionally I hear people yell in a foreign language that I think is Russian, but really I don't know. It's kind of weird like that. Hey, Mom. It's my mother. She's visiting for the holidays. She's cool. All right. So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what to do at this point. I think I'm gonna end the video now because we're gonna go out to eat. But that's just a quick look at the alpha for Battlefield. I honestly feel like this is a game that you could just sort of put down. I wouldn't say this is a game that should be free. I'm not going to say that. I think that this is a game that's worth about $20 at its current state, even with the leveling up and all these cool features and levels. They're going to sell it for $60. So that's debatable. Oh, an actual vehicle! I haven't seen one yet. That's cool. Okay. So you're driving around in a tanky thing, or maybe it's an ATV. Let me find my other foot here and speed up. Take a look at what that thing's doing. It's attacking the IMCOM station. Come back here. I'm attacking you with a wireless mouse. There we go. Whoops, and now I'm chatting with people. The chat system is kind of cool. It scales based on what type of monitor you're on. So for a big screen television like this, the text is all very easily readable, which is great. I don't know. I don't know what else to really say about it. It's weird. You can scale the window, which I did not expect this to be a fully windowed game that can't go full screen. On a 1680 by 1050 monitor, that's a problem because you're losing about, I'd say, 50 pixels of height. With the bar being there. On a TV which cuts the edges off, this is a perfectly fine game. So, great console port. Is it a great PC game, though? I'm sure that this will be great to play on a console. I'm just not sure if I'd say that this is something that's great for a PC. I even tried to mess with the settings, and all it really wanted to do was have me plug in a Xbox controller. That's not settings, that's just automatic peripheral setup, and it doesn't accept other types of game controllers. And it's kind of weird that the game seems to want me to play with a game controller. Not sure what that means, or implies. So, yeah, if it was more tweakable and there were more options, and I think that hopefully they will add those in for us PC gamers out there. The web browser server browser was a little buggy at first. I had to reinstall the game 2 times just to make it work. And re-download it because the first 2 downloads were slightly corrupted. And then the web browser plugin, which makes the game work, was also corrupted. And I think that by forcing it to run with a web browser on people with slower machines might also have a little bit of slowdown. But I think this might be the reason why this game will not be on Steam and why EA has pulled out of Steam recently. Because it's seeming to want to run everything through the browser. And that might be something that Steam doesn't like, because they're using it to, quote-unquote, dynamically deliver content to the users, but Steam doesn't like you having to run, multiple browser-based plugins that can act as, potentially harmful plugins. But, yeah, the only other complaint I have right now is this single death screen is the same for all 4 classes, and it's just you looking at your hand, which is kind of cool, but the hand clips through stairs and stuff, which is just sort of weird. For a game that's trying to tout itself on realism and graphic appeal, a hand clipping through a set of stairs doesn't exactly do it. But it looks great, doesn't it? I mean, it really does look great. Up close, not as great as it did in the trailers. The trailers, I think, were running Sony Vegas, and they basically had a guy running around to get as much motion blur and vignetting in the shot as possible. Here, once we can actually look at a rock up close and see what the texture's like, it's a very, very refined texture, very nicely bump mapped, but it's still kind of polygonal. Actually, you can see the polygons if you really get, in the nitty-gritty of it. The shadowing is also really nice. I like the real-time shadowing and lighting, and the scale of the thing is, huge. I'm looking forward to seeing what aircraft are going to be like in this game when you're flying around. My only other complaint is I'm seeming to have a thing where it sticks the frame rate at about, I'm not sure, I'd say 45 to 50 as opposed to 60 FPS, and I can't seem to turn it up or tweak it. And I'm running in Quad SLI, so I should be able to push this at 60 easy. So not sure what's up with that, but maybe they want the game to run in 45 FPS because it's more cinematic. Or maybe there's just so much post-processing happening, and I'm willing to bet that there's just way too much post-processing happening right now, that it's actually interrupting the frame rate and I'm losing frames due to post-processing. Which, when you think about it, is not the direction I would like to see PC games go in. That's a very console-like behavior. And honestly, look at the way it's zooming and blurring. You see that one section? It's not very blurred. Why is it's a cheap-looking effect anyway? Why would you want to lose frames a second for such kind of weird-looking post-processing effects? But whatever. Some people like post-processing. They say it adds to the realism, and a lot of post-processing, like Bloom and high passes and low passes, are good. It's just the blurs that are kind of weird sometimes. But there you go. So that's Battlefield 3. I still am not used to saying Battlefield 3. I need to get used to that. So that's Battlefield 3. Is it as good as Battlefield 2? Not by a long shot. But if they add the modding support, which they promised but didn't actually say that they were really going to do particularly, I think they really will do it. But if they don't do it, then I would give this a 2 out of 5 stars. If they add in the modding support, 5 out of 5. It's Battlefield. It's pure, simple Battlefield with a next-gen shell, and I say that with all the sarcasm in the world wrapped around it. And the sound effects and music are really cool. Like when you're actually winning a fight, the music will build up to this really dramatic crescendo, and then you win, and it goes to the UN screen, and the music then ends just then, and pans out. It's very well done musically. I liked that. So, especially in events where there's timers and the timer's counting down, having that dramatic little bit of music there was nice. I didn't notice any music just now when we were losing, though. I'd like losing music. Or I guess maybe losers don't deserve music. I don't know. But it was pretty cool when it started up the first time. I was like, it was going dun 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 dun. I'm like, really? This is happening? Dun 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 dun. Oh wow, this is cool. Dun 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 dun. We're like killing people. Yeah, we're winning. It just adds to the whole thing. So I guess end lesson of the day is add more dramatic music, DICE, and this will be a shimmering product worth, again, only $20 that you're going to sell for $60, and you're going to make it exclusive to Origin, which is a terrible download service compared to Steam. No offense, it just is. You can't tweak, you can't modify settings, you can't set launch options, and I still don't know how to modify the settings of this game other than putting in an Xbox controller. So that's it. That's Bad Company 3. Battlefield 3. See, I'm still not used to saying it.